Okay. Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you for this Ask Me Anything session on the DEI Catalyst program. Over the next 45 minutes or so, we will try our best to answer as many questions as we can about the program. Many of you here today have already registered, so I'm sure there will be a lot of questions that you might have about the program. The way we will run the session is that there will be about a 15 minutes presentation on the specifics of the DEI Catalyst program, and then it'll be followed by questions from the audience. May I please request all of you to keep yourself muted throughout the session. Whenever you think of a question, just use the chat option there and send across the question. I will make sure that the question is posed to the relevant person in the panel, and then we are able to address your query. All right. Let me first start with telling you a little bit about the program partners. The program was conceived and is being fully funded by the US Consulate General. A branch of the US diplomatic mission, US Consulate General Mumbai, serves Western India. Apart from providing various consular services to American and non-Americans, the consulate ensures a robust US-India relationship, working closely with the other diplomatic entities in India. The implementation lead for the program is Venture Center, founded in 2007 as part of CSIR, Government of India initiatives. Venture Center in Pune, excuse me, is a leading technology business incubator in India, supporting over 750 startups, including 180 resident ones. It fosters innovation and growth. Its current incubatees hold over 130 unique patents and pioneer world-class products and services. The knowledge partner of the program is PeopleWiz Consulting. Established in 2011, PeopleWiz is a premier HR firm with offices across Pune, Bangalore, and Singapore. Specializing in MSME ecosystem support, it provides HR mentoring, organizational design, and inclusive culture cultivation services. PeopleWiz Consulting has extensive sector exposure, such as engineering, manufacturing, deep tech, and many, many more. I'm very happy to introduce my panel to you today. We have with us Ruchira Gokhale. Ruchira is a certified diversity professional and a qualified human resource specialist with a career spanning 20 years, a large part of which has been across organizations like Thermax, Cummins, and Interweave Consulting. For close to a decade, Ruchira has been consulting exclusively in the space of DEIA. Her expertise range from leading the diagnostics, defining DEI strategies, sensitization workshops, and many other interventions like unconscious bias, gender competence, LGBTQ plus inclusion, intergenerational intelligence, etc. Welcome, Ruchira. Neha, I have on the panel, Neha Jacob is the head operations at Venture Center. Her role involves developing and building, managing institutional infrastructure, resources, and processes. Everything to support the scale-up of activities at Venture Center, thereby giving momentum to the startup ecosystem. She comes with nearly 19 years of experience in financial audits, operations, and general management. She's worked previously with Ernst & Young and Arohi, a grassroots organization in North India, and she's accumulated experience working in consulting as well as social impact organizations. Neha is a certified chartered accountant and company secretary. Welcome, Neha. We also have Shine with us. Shine is an accomplished business transformation expert specializing in MSME and focused on HR. He has a passion for leveraging technology to drive organizational success. With over 25 years of experience in various industries such as agri, NBFC, FMCG, mining, ports, and logistics, Shine has gained a comprehensive understanding of HR sector and challenges faced by growing organizations. Before PeopleWiz, Shine has been part of University of Oxford, Siemens, and Thermax. Welcome, Shine. And I will be your host today. I am Pratima Sharma. I'm a qualified HR and organizational design and development specialist. I'm focused on capacity building for startups and SMEs. As a managing partner at PeopleWiz Consulting, I've had the opportunity to mentor a variety of startups and MSMEs in employing high-impact people processes. I'm also a co-founder of a Section 8 company working on child welfare, where are India's children. I worked with Thermax and TCS in other roles before we starting People Wiz back in 2011. We are very glad for all of us, all the panel members to have joined with us today, and we're hoping to answer as many questions as we can with everybody here. Excuse me. Many studies have been done on the impact of DEIA, right? There's enough research to say that DEI strategies provide a broader set of viewpoints, which improve overall decision-making, helps you make better decisions, be more innovative, be more agile. There's also enough research that shows that DEI initiatives help you get into the hearts and the minds of your customers, thereby improving your market share and improving overall company's reputation. Even challenges which all of us face, like talent attraction, talent retention, those are some of the things that can be addressed by building a culture of trust, which is based on DEIA strategies. There are many other studies that talk about business advantages, business outcomes, and even profitability being linked to how much investment is being done on DEI strategies in the organization. But the program that we have today goes a step further. I think enough has been said about the business case for diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. DEI Catalyst program talks to you about the how and not just the why. Because the question that we're trying to solve here is whether there is a way to create processes, policies, interventions inside the organization that can help you move through the maturity level of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility at your workplace. The overall objective for us is to create a cohort of 60 to 75 MSMEs representing various parts of the nation, different zones of the nation, and taking them through a journey of diversity so that they all can get more and more maturity in their processes and policies, etc., and overall, work towards a transformation in their workplace. The framework that we have, there are 4 parts to it. As far as diversity, we would be focusing on representation of differences in perspectives among the individuals within the workplace. The differences can be born from anything really, whether it is gender, background, demographics, caste, creed, anything. Equity, ensuring fair treatment, opportunities, advancement for all employees regardless of their backgrounds. Inclusion, which talks about creating an environment where everybody is respected, everybody is valued, again, regardless of their differences. And accessibility, ensuring that all employees, including those who have special needs, disabilities, they have equal access to resources, facilities, even opportunities within the workplace. So these will be the 4 pillars of the program that we'll address for you in the 12-month period. What we've also done is made sure that we've created a maturity model for all of us. Now, DEI maturity model has been created. It has been adapted from most of the common maturity models, but this has been adapted to make sure that this is relevant for the MSME sector in the country. Across the maturity, organizations can be at aware, beginner, advancing, or leader level. At an aware level, organizations have a basic understanding and recognition of DEI principles. There's some level of compliance, there's some level of initiatives which are being taken, but limited in nature. At the beginner level, there is increased awareness, there's increased commitment, and we see more efforts towards the diversity, representation, accessibility, etc. An advancing level would be where significant resources have been deputed, robust policies have been created, and we see an overall reporting mechanism in place, etc. And a leading organization or a leader would be almost like a role model who has the culture of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility deeply ingrained in everything almost that they do. There is learning, there is development, and there is very transparent reporting on everything which is going on around DEI in the organization. So at these 4 levels, we'll be using this maturity model to help all of you move across these levels to gain a wider maturity on the various processes that you have around diversity EIA. The program design has been created keeping in mind that there is a balance between large group knowledge sessions as well as one-on-one sessions where we sit down with each participating organization and discuss the needs of that organization and help them devise approaches and strategies that help that particular organization. So in the awareness sessions, it'll be very comprehensive sessions on the meaning and the impact of DEIA. These would be conducted virtually. Cohort members will also go through a maturity assessment in the beginning of the program. That will help us figure out what is your current maturity level and identify gaps also, so that we can do a proper planning for each of you. The zonal boot camps that we are imagining are right now being planned in person, where the entire country is being divided into 4 zones: north, south, east, and west. And the program teams would be traveling to the city, a central city within that zone where everybody can come. And one-on-one sessions can be carried out individually with each cohort participant. This would talk about your own key performance indicator, own goals, leadership competencies that you want to include in their own DEI strategy program, etc. The virtual check-ins, webinars, and audits are interspersed across the 12-month period, and regular support would be provided during these virtual check-ins. The idea is to make sure that whatever goals we take for each of us for the 12 months that we are part of the program are being met. And if any corrections have to be done, we are doing that also as we go across. The webinars will also help us because we would be covering multiple topics around business impact and other things which come out from the assessment also. And once we determine the current level of maturity of various organizations. We will culminate the program somewhere in March 2025 with a 2-day national conclave. This will be a program wherein all participating members, larger MSME community, DEI experts would all be invited, and we would have a number of speaking sessions, panel discussion, thought leadership sessions, etc., where various topics around DEI would be discussed, debated, and different practices would be shared. So that's how the program would culminate. In terms of the eligibility, quite clear. Anybody who is falling in the definition of MSME as per the RBI, which is that you're registered in India, you have less than 50 crores rupees of investment in plant and machinery, and your last annual turnover does not exceed 250 crore rupees. If you meet these 3 criteria, then you are eligible to apply for the program. In case you have any questions in your mind, please just keep sending them in the chat so that I can always pick them up as we go along. Apart from the various sessions that we are planning, both virtual and in person, to help each participating member, we are also very keen on creating an ecosystem that stays with you even after the program has ended. So one of the things which would be done is to create what we are calling a DEI community portal. As the program starts somewhere in the mid of April, we would give access to all participating organizations, the cohort members, to the community portal. This portal has been designed to make sure that every collateral, every tool that is being developed across the 12-month period is available to you at a single place to download and use. It'll also have spaces for collaboration where you can share best practices and ask questions to experts and get answers to those. We will also be putting up various directories, etc., so that you have access to resources that you need for the DEI rollouts that you have in your organization. We would also be initiating a DEI ambassador program. As part of the program, one of the requirements that we have from the participating cohort members is to assign one lead, a DEIA lead, who would be like a point of contact or a single person who would be in touch with us and also drive within the organization the various strategies which are created for your organization. So the DEI ambassador program is where we would invest in the capacity building of this person from your organization who would continue to be your internal champion for various DEI strategies even after the end of the program. We also plan to publish a DEI for MSME guidebook at the end of the program during the National Conclave, which would be available to you as a toolkit or a guide for any other ideas, any advanced strategies that you want to try, or any case studies you want to read about the different DEI strategies that have been tried by partners. We are also creating a directory of outsourcing partners, specifically on compliance, based on different zones that we have, so that you have somebody available who can help you in your regular compliance even after the end of the program. Some important dates. Last day to apply is 31st of March. We plan to make the cohort announcement by the 10th of April and kick off the program by the 16th of April. We don't have the exact dates for the in-person boot camps, but somewhere the idea is in the beginning of the financial year, we'll have 2 boot camps in May, June. You can see the West, South, North, and East months that we have in mind. May, June would be West, and then June, July, etc. Like that for the in-person boot camps. And later in the year, we would have the virtual check-ins and the audits also, which will be conducted on a regular basis. A few questions that we've been getting very often, one of them has been, how are we going to select the organizations? So for us, we have during the application form where while you're filling up, we've asked you certain questions around your own commitment, your own motivation. So we would, study all that. We would look at the current level of practices you have, overall alignment with the program objectives. And also, I think one more thing important for us is that we are getting the right representation from the different zones and various sectors as well. So keeping all that in mind, we would be making a final list of selected cohort members and publishing it. Another question that we're getting is, are there any financial obligations? None really, because the program is fully funded by the US Consulate General Mumbai. However, any travel that might be needed for, boot camps near you or the national conclave travel or stay, anything around that, that will have to be borne by the participating organization. How will we monitor and evaluate? As part of the program design, we've created a very comprehensive monitoring and evaluation framework also. We have identified certain key performance indicators related to DEI, and we would every quarter once be releasing certain surveys where we would ask you for data to fill up. We might ask for employee feedbacks or some compliance levels or some rates of talent retention, etc. And based on that, we would be helping all the participating organizations make sure that they are moving across the journey and increasing the maturity as they go along the 12-month period. One question that we are getting is, will this program help us in ESG audits or ESG support? I think the answer really is that DEIA reinforces the social objectives. So we can't help you in ENG, but definitely the S part, the social part, that is where, some of the interventions that we'll talk about and that will help you roll out in your organization, that'll help you. What is the time and the resource commitment from your side? Number one, please appoint a competent DEIA lead, either from senior management or middle management, who can drive these strategies across your org. Ensure that this lead is available for all the sessions that we are conducting. Ensure that they come to the boot camps. Give them the resources to roll out policies, interventions, and also support the M&E efforts that we have, because we would be regularly asking you for data. At least once a quarter, we might come back to you asking for data that we can then use for monitoring and evaluation purpose. I think we are getting a bunch of questions. So these are just the contact address, phone numbers, and email ID. I will stop share for a second here and then start looking at the questions, but that's all I had to say. Right. Ankit, Ankit is asking, please share the program details PDF document. That's a good idea, Ankit. What we've done is we've created a website and there's a brochure available for download that has some details. If you're looking for something more specific, you can always write to us. But for now, I think we have a brochure and a website available. And if you can follow us on the social media pages also, we'll keep putting out more and more information. Definitely, once the cohort has been created and there is a kickoff, all the participating members will get much more details about the program. So the companies which are registered in India can only register for this program. Yes, Vaishnavi, right now the program is limited to the MSMEs in the country because that's what the grant specifies. So you have to be necessarily registered in India to be part of the program. Yeah. Who all are eligible, Ankit? I hope I've answered. In terms of eligibility, it is very easy and clear. It is just the MSME. But definitely for selections, we will look at a larger number of variables. In fact, once we've looked at your application, and if we have any further questions, we might just call the point of contact that you've mentioned in the application form and get some additional information also. Dr. Vyas, companies under process with MSME registrations till we are eligible, any other eligibility criteria? Neha, I think that's fine, right? We don't even necessarily need a...
Yeah, it's not made that mandatory. The MSME registration, even if you're in the process of applying for it, that's fine, as long as you fulfill the other criteria that we have as registration as an organization in India and investment in plant and machinery.
That is good enough, yeah. I think we lost Dr. Vyas and he's joining again. Let him join back and then we'll probably answer this question one more time for him. Is it for micro companies who've started this year itself but works with tribal artisans, has employees, region core area, CSR is solid? Kirti, I would suggest that you please apply. We are trying our best to get a good representation across micro, small, medium. So definitely we would consider, unless we are full capacity and we can't take anybody, we would rarely turn anyone down. But please do apply and we'll try our best to see how we can, support. Because another thing we're also conscious is that the program, one is you should have the bandwidth to be able to spend time with the program team across various sessions, and also the bandwidth to roll out some of these interventions also. So as long as we are convinced that you can do it, whatever your size, I think we would be happy to welcome you on board. So please go ahead and apply. Yeah. I think we have Dr. Vyas back. He had asked this question. I'll quickly repeat what Neha said. Dr. Vyas, your question around your companies under process with MSME registration, are we eligible? Yes, you are. It is not mandatory. It is not mandatory to have the DPIT or MSME registration. As long as you meet these criteria, you're fine. We have already applied. What will be the further process? Thank you so much, Amrita, for applying. We are receiving applications every day. We will close hopefully by the 31st of March and then start the selection process. We'll keep you posted one way or the other, whatever happens. By 10th of April, we will make sure we get back to you and keep you absolutely posted. Meanwhile, you can just follow our social media pages so that you keep getting updates about the program. We've addressed whatever is here, unless somebody feels that their question hasn't been answered. You can just tell me again and I will try and address that for you. One more question that we are getting very often is that which cities will you pick up in the West zone, East zone, North and South zone? Honestly, it depends on the spread of the participating organizations and which locations they are coming from. We are trying our best to make sure that we are as close as possible to you and we are picking up a city which is easily connected to all of you. So we'll make sure that we come your way. As I said, the program is not just about giving you information about DEIA. It is about coming to you and sitting down with you and trying to solve one-on-one what are the specific strategies and the approaches that you can try in your organization to move across the maturity. So we'll try and make sure that we are as close to you as possible and spend time, as much time as we can. We can spend time with you. Program team will make sure that they camp for at least 2-3 days during the period and make sure that all queries are addressed and we are meeting all of you one-on-one. Yes, Dr. Vyas, we are recording this session. Yeah. So please don't worry about your MSME DPIIT certification. You're okay to submit. Neha, do you mind just responding to him on chat? Maybe he'll just
Yeah, I can do
pick it
that.
up. Yeah.
Alternatively, if Dr. Vyas can share your email ID, we can get back to you with this, with the reply on email as well.
Yeah, yeah. And we are recording this session. Please don't worry. We will publish the session also for you. But you're good to apply. Please just go ahead and apply. And he's shared his email ID. Those who have already applied, can we edit our answer by the 31st of March? Not after that. After the 31st of March, we'll close all editing options also. If you want to edit, please go ahead and edit. 31st March, end of day, probably somewhere 5:36 p.m. We'll close all applications.
There is another question, Pratima, on how many number of companies will you be selecting?
Yes, so we need a maximum of 75 companies would be selected. What we are conscious about is that these 75 should be spread across the country so that we have all zones covered. So that's something that we will be very conscious about. But 75 is the number that we are targeting, not more than that.
There is another question from Peace for All Nations.
Yeah.
Now, we are working for tribal areas and Telangana.
Right.
So I think the question is incomplete there. But I think the question is around, will they be eligible?
Yeah, absolutely. See, for non-profits, as long as you're Section 8, a company, we need a company. We can't have charities and trusts supply. Unfortunately, we'll not be able to include those. But if you're a Section 8 non-profit, please do go ahead and apply. We are keen on having non-profits also as part of this, because just in the spirit of diversity, it will be great to have a variety of sectors applying as part of the cohort. I think we can learn so much from each other as a cohort.
So Pratima, on behalf of the members, I want to, because I'm seeing a pattern in one of the question.
Yeah.
Why are we asking for MSME and DPIT or any kind of certifications for this program?
No, we are not asking. In fact, that's the answer that we've given. There is no MSME certification, registration, DPIT. Only thing is you need to be an MSME as per the definition of RBI, which is that you're less than 50 crore in investment on plant and machinery. You should be registered in India and your turnover cannot be more than 250 crores. As long as you meet these three criteria, please go ahead and apply. Do not worry about any registrations or anything like that. What the MSME will get, certificate, award, etc. So yeah, one is you would be part of a cohort, which is a prestigious cohort. We would be, depending on your participation, your movement across the maturity, we would be giving you a certificate of completion of having been part of this, which would be something that you get from the US Consulate General, PeopleWiz, as well as Venture Center. So that's something that you will get. Perk. I don't know, anybody else has anything else to say? They can add.
Yeah, I'd just like to come in based on my experience of having worked with several organizations now. I see that there is a requirement very often, either implicitly or explicitly, which the clients would sooner or later ask of you to say, what are you doing in the diversity and inclusion area? So many places it's already explicitly being asked as a part of the RFP process, etc. But it is going to be a reality. This gives you an early mover advantage in this space. That's my experience.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. And I mean, just to add to that, I think, Ruchi, there's not enough being done for the MSME sector. I think to that extent, this is one of the first programs which focuses on MSME and diversity. So yeah, you'll be part of something like that. And as Ruchi said, it's an early mover advantage on the whole DEIA landscape.
Hi, Pratima.
Yes, Vaishali.
Yeah, Vaishali here. thanks to you, Ruchira, Priyanka, for the kind of smooth communication we had been receiving. And Priyanka uh, she was really helpful throughout the process. So thanks, Priyanka. And apart from this, would there any kind of meeting or any kind of uh, any selection criteria apart from this? Would you be getting in touch with the team, or are there any more activities which are planned for us to get through the
before the
journey?
before the selection. So see, this is what our plan is. We are waiting for the 31st of March to close applications, and then we'll start scrutinizing all the applications. If we
Okay.
feel we need additional information from you because we feel it is not sufficient to take a call on your application, we would get in touch and ask for additional information. If that is not the case, then we'll go ahead, and by the 10th of April, we would be announcing the final list of cohort members. We will make sure that you understand if you're part of it, why, and if you're not also, we'll ensure that we'll communicate back to you and our regrets of why we are not unable to accept you for any reason. We'll make sure that we come back to you on that.
Right.
If you make it.
What I felt, the application, yes, it is conducive of all the elements which you require.
Right.
But apart from that, there are quite a few elements which we as our company, we had been working on. And I could not get a chance to incorporate those in the application, because I clearly see that there's a lot of value addition for our company to, not only for the employees, but for our esteemed clients also. And there's this beautiful symbiotic environment we can create out of this.
Okay, sure. No, I get your point. So I'll request Priyanka. Priyanka, if you can be in touch with Vaishali, let's make sure whatever additional information to support her application that she wants to give us, we take it from her. If there is a section in the application form where we can edit it directly, great. If we can't, then just create a additional document for Vaishali, and then let's I will, for that matter, encourage all of you to just be in touch with Priyanka. Any additional information you want to provide from your organization that you think would help the overall application, please just be in touch with Priyanka, send across an email, and we'll definitely. Our hope and prayer is that we are able to include as many of you as possible. You know, that's the whole idea.
Lovely.
So, let's see.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? And Priyanka, anything you've been getting very often that you think it's worth discussing in the forum? We can always do that. Claudia, Priyanka, anything? Or we addressed quite a bunch of questions, I think.
So I've been getting questions about what are the topics which will be covered over the program.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Michelle, you want to try that?
Right. So, we are going to start, like Pratima said, we will start with talking about what is diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, why is it relevant? So we'll do some of that basic awareness around the topic. We will also, through this process, help you understand about what are the barriers, because it's good to know what it is. And it's actually, when you go through that, some of you may already be aware, it's very commonsensical. There's nothing very out of the ordinary that we are talking about, and yet it continues to be a challenge. So what we will explore is the barriers that are coming up for it, and which is where aspects like unconscious bias and some of those will get discussed. So that will be hopefully an eye-opening experience for you. You'll start to see fresh perspectives. Things that we take for granted are actually seeped in bias. Those kind of, once we start seeing that, we can also look at, okay, these are the challenges and barriers, this is coming in the way, how can we solve for it? And a lot of what will happen through the program in any case is solving for those challenges and barriers. We will also we will be doing some kind of, once you're part of the cohort, we'll do a certain pre-assessment, and based on that, what are the areas that seem to emerge as areas of interest for you, so that we can contextualize the conversation. So a lot of this will be contextualized to what emerges in that kind of check-in when we do with you. We will also have the opportunity to probably pick up, maybe like hiring. Hiring, I'm sure, is a big one that some of you are grappling with, hiring diversity. So what are the best practices? In fact, you will have access to best practices across the entire talent life cycle when it comes to inclusion, belonging, etc. So all of that will be covered, and it will, like I said, be contextualized to your unique needs as a cohort, and we will see opportunities to bring in certain speakers from the industry to talk to you about areas that resonate with you. Pratima, is there anything, or Shine, would
Yeah,
you like to add?
that's so great. So as I've been saying, it's a balance between providing you with information and then helping you move across the journey. So as Ruchira said, that we look at your entire employee life cycle, look at where are the points where we see gaps, and then help you create a plan for yourself, that we can continuously support during the period that you're part of the cohort. So that's the approach. So we're trying to avoid a cookie cutter approach. Everybody says that. We're trying to avoid that. Only initially it'll be information sessions and then much more customized towards what you need. Somebody's just joined, so I'll give them a second to ask anything if they have.
And I've also been getting questions about, can startups also join?
Yeah, I think we got a question on micro also. No? So see, we are more than happy to have startups, in the sake of diversity. There's so much we learn, right? Only thing is, as long as we are convinced that you have the necessary resources, that you will be able to, invest some time in with the program team, you would be able to take those learnings back and roll them out in the organization, and you have the resources to do that. If there's enough evidence of that, then definitely I think we would be happy. Please just do some introspection and apply if you think you're ready for it. We will definitely give you a fair chance before we make the final call on selections.
Thank you.
Any further questions anybody has?
Would there be any additional costs involved in this process, or?
So, as far as the program is concerned, there is no program fee or anything. It's fully funded by US Consulate General, Mumbai. But definitely your out-of-pocket expenses for travel, stay, coming to the boot camp, national conclave, those could be something that you'll have to bear. Once we decide on the plan for your organization and what strategies that you should try out, I think that'll also be to an extent driven by what are the internal budgets you have. So that's completely customized to your current situation. But as far as the program is concerned, only the travel and the stay for boot camps and national conclave. Nothing else is really mandatory. One thing also I think we would be a little bit particular about is your attending, not just the attendance of boot camp and sessions, but also evidence we see that there is movement across the maturity life cycle. You've tried some of the interventions. So we are keen, because we will very closely observe these things, and every quarter we'll do a survey to check how we are coming along. So we'll be a little particular about how things are moving for you. And, and having completed this entire journey, we would be in a position to, give out any certificates or awards. things like that. During the National Conclave also, there's a plan so there'll be a opportunity for you to showcase your own case study, like what you've learned during the program, what you tried, and it gave you certain benefit. So a case study presentation session would be put up for all the participating cohort members, where we would be recognizing people who've done extremely well in terms of their DEI maturity. So that recognition is something we've planned for the cohort members.
How many members per organization will be allowed to participate in?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's the question we've been getting also, Claudia. Thanks for that. So definitely see, because initial sessions are virtual in nature, boot camps are one-on-one for you. So we are not going to restrict how many. So two, you want to make sure 2 people come, 3 people come. As long as 1 person is there, that's the minimum we need. Your DI lead should be there. But if you want 1 or 2 more people to come along and listen to the sessions and be part of the camps, more than happy for you to include them, right? But our minimum requirement is 1, and going beyond 3 might be too much for you also. So imagine 1 to 3 is the kind of range we are looking at, where you can have people join the various sessions in the camps. In fact, some of the webinars that we are thinking, we'll keep them open to a larger audience. So even if you want more people, most of your employees listening in for the webinars, we would be more than happy to have all the employees join as well.
So Pratima, there has been a question that has been coming is, are there any compliance requirements around DEIA? And will the program support the compliance requirements of DEIA?
There are compliance requirements. The very basic one would be POSH, prevention of sexual harassment. There are many others also, which we will cover as part of the program. We would be able to give you insight on what you need to do to comply, but the actual compliance will have to be done by you or one of your outsourcing partners who can do the work for you. But we can definitely give you insights on where you are right now and what you need to do to make sure that you're complying with the various laws that we have in the country around DEIA.
In fact, we would also, Pratima, be able to support with certain policies that are able to very quickly help them comply. So maybe a vanilla POSH policy, for example. So their piece around compliance to that extent becomes faster, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think coming to the close then, I think we've answered almost all the questions. Before I wrap up, if you haven't already applied, please go ahead and apply. Share about the program in your network where you think there is progressive thought, people are facing challenges, or they're thinking about this, but they don't know how to go about it, right? Please do share in your network. We are more than happy to answer any questions. We are more than happy to set up another AMA session if you want it for a specific association, organization, or anything like that. We would be more than happy to speak to all of you. But at this point, we would really request all of you to please refer in your network with more and more people, because the overall objective really is to create at least a group basic momentum which can then over a period of time result in a larger national dialogue around diversity. That's the overall objective with which the program has been conceived. So please do keep sharing in your network, and we are waiting to welcome all of you, as many of you as possible, at least, to the cohort when we begin mid-April.
Sure.
Any last words, last thoughts from the panel, or can I close? Right. Great.
Thanks, Pratima.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam. Telangana.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Stop recording now.